Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Homeland Security officials have released the identities of the two people shot and injured by Border Patrol agents in Portland, Oregon. And President Trump meets with top U.S. oil executives on investments in Venezuela.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Mueller. We're learning more about the two people at the center of Wednesday's deadly shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and getting a look of video taken by the agent involved, as calls for ICE to leave Minneapolis intensify from local leaders. We want to warn you that some of the cell phone video may be difficult to watch. CBS's Usher Qureshi is in Minneapolis with details.
A moment of silence Friday for Renee Nicole Good from families and educators in Minneapolis, followed by calls for ICE to leave.
We want them out of our neighborhoods, out of our schools, and out of our state.
Friday, Good's wife gave a statement to Minnesota Public Radio saying in part, "We stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns." Vice President J.D. Vance reposted this video taken by the ICE agent and released by a media outlet called Alpha News.
I'm not mad at you.
That's Good inside the SUV and her wife outside the vehicle talking to the ICE officer before the shooting.
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Another officer orders Good out of the SUV and she starts to drive. Earlier Friday, Mayor Jacob Frey criticized the Trump administration's decision to remove state authorities from the shooting investigation.
This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way.
CBS News has confirmed the agent who shot Good is Jonathan Ross, who has worked with ICE in Minnesota for nearly a decade and was involved in another vehicle-related incident last June. Court documents show he was dragged approximately 100 yards with his arm inside a car while trying to execute an immigration warrant. Usher Qureshi, CBS News, Minneapolis.
The state attorney general and the Hennepin County attorney say local agencies are still conducting their own investigation, but it will be difficult to form a full picture with the FBI withholding evidence. Homeland Security officials have released the identities of the two people shot and injured by Border Patrol agents during a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. They say both were, quote, criminal illegal aliens and suspected associates of the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang, adding the couple, quote, weaponized their vehicle against Border Patrol. The agent took immediate action to defend himself and others, shooting them.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
According to DHS, the pair then fled the scene. The victims called 911 and were found more than 2 miles from where the incident happened and were taken to the hospital. While local leaders in Portland are calling for calm, they're also demanding ICE halt all operations in the city until a full investigation is complete. President Trump says the U.S. stands to make a lot of money off Venezuelan oil, and he wants American oil companies to go in and spend at least $100 million to refurbish that country's industry to get the oil flowing again. President Trump hosted executives from some of America's biggest oil companies at the White House today for discussion. The meeting comes as the U.S. continues to carry out its blockade of ships linked to Venezuela carrying sanctioned oil. President Trump has also not ruled out taking military action against other countries like Mexico to stop the flow of drugs coming into the U.S.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch.
President Trump says he will consider meeting with Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez. He's also scheduled to meet with exiled Venezuelan dissident Maria Corina Machado at the White House on Tuesday. Machado won the Nobel Peace Prize this year, and the White House says she wants to share the prize with President Trump. Pope Leo is warning that war is back in vogue and the zeal for war is spreading. In a fiery foreign policy speech at the Vatican today, he said nations are turning away from diplomacy and relying on military force instead. His words come amid Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, continued violence in the Middle East, and the recent U.S. military operation in Venezuela.
I renew my appeal to respect the will of the Venezuelan people and to safeguard the human and civil rights of all, ensuring a future of stability and concord.
Pope Leo urged leaders around the world to pursue peace through dialogue rather than force. A line of people gathered outside the federal courthouse waiting for a seat at Luigi Mangioni's high-stakes hearing. The 27-year-old is charged in the fatal shooting of a healthcare executive a year ago in an ambush on a New York sidewalk. His legal team is fighting to block the government from seeking the death penalty. Their argument centers on the charge that Mangioni used a firearm in the commission of a violent crime. They say the charge is flawed and should be dismissed.
What the federal government has done is they've charged Mangioni with stalking, and they've said that is the crime of violence. And the defense is saying stalking is not necessarily a crime of violence. It is a crime, but it's not the kind of violent crime that would underlie the death penalty.
Mangioni's lawyers also argue authorities prejudiced the case by turning his arrest into a spectacle after a 5-day manhunt. Today's hearing concerned only the federal case against Mangioni, but there is a state murder case as well. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. The defense is also seeking to block the government from using items found in Mangioni's backpack as evidence, arguing police searched him without a warrant.
Well, it's been a mild day today. We have temperatures right now still holding on to around 60 degrees. 59 in Jackson, we're 59 in Hazard, 61 for Manchester, 59 in Harlan, 60 Pikeville, 62 in Prestonsburg, 63 in Moorhead right now, and 64 degrees in Ashland. So not a bad evening so far across our area, at least the early part of the evening. Look at the forecast for tonight. We'll see more rain start to show up as we get into the later part of the night. Temperatures only going to fall down into the low to mid 50s. So it is going to stay on that pleasant side with temperatures. It's just going to be more rain as we go into tonight. Look at this Saturday's forecast. We're going to continue to see that rain throughout the day tomorrow as temperatures do return to the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. Could be a little bit breezy as well, but we'll continue to see on and off rain as we go throughout the day as another system comes through our region. Looking at our weather headlines, a rainy Saturday, going to see winter return to our region as we go into Sunday, and then Monday, sunny and seasonal across our region. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ben. New Labor Department data show the U.S. entered 2026 still recovering from a major economic slowdown. Some experts say job growth stalled in 2025, even as the president maintains the economy is strong. WYMT's Washington correspondent Stephen Goyne breaks down the latest jobs report.
With that December jobs report, we now have a full picture of 2025, and the data shows last year had the weakest annual jobs growth in decades. The U.S. economy added 50,000 jobs in December, according to that latest jobs report, while unemployment was down slightly at 4.4% compared to a revised 4.5% from last month. With those new numbers, we now know the U.S. economy only added 584,000 jobs in 2025. In fact, the data shows last year saw the weakest annual jobs growth since 2003. That excludes outlier data from 2020 and 2021, when millions of jobs were lost due to the COVID-19 pandemic. For the year, the healthcare industry and social assistance were the biggest drivers of job growth. In a statement, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, putting the blame on the Trump administration for slow growth, their chief economist says, quote, "This labor market is frozen with very little hiring as businesses cannot make long-term plans in an uncertain environment." So overall, a tough year for job seekers. In 2025, the number of people looking for a job but not finding one up by 397,000. In Washington, I'm Stephen Gowen.
Millions of Americans have defaulted on their student loans, and now the government may take part of their paychecks. As of September, more than 45 million Americans held outstanding student loans totaling $1.67 trillion. This week, the Department of Education is sending out notices that could impact millions who've defaulted.
What the government is doing is they're saying, hey, you owe us a bunch of money. We're going to take some money back from you. How? We are going to garnish your wages.
That could be up to 15% of someone's paycheck, or even cost student loan borrowers part of their tax return. For older Americans, the government could take a piece of their Social Security payments. Experts suggest contacting your student loan provider to find repayment options that work for you.